looking live at Ryan Field in Evanston, Illinois. Earlier today, a major storm rolled through here with winds measured in excess of 40 miles an hour. But that cell has passed, and we're now ready for one of the biggest games ever at Northwestern. A Big Ten showdown. It's the Wildcats homecoming. Good evening, everybody, and welcome with Kirkherb Street. I'm Brent Musburger. Thanks for dropping by. Herbie, first the big picture. We got to keep an eye on Florida State and Clemson in the ACC.
You can make an argument that those are the two most impressive teams that we've seen so far today. Florida State expected to maybe be challenged by Maryland. Dominant. Clemson goes on the road to the Carrier Dome against Syracuse. Dominant. Showdown October 19th at Clemson at Death Valley. That will go a long way in determining who ultimately gets to the national title.
And last night, Coach Urban Meyer said he's keeping an eye on the other power teams.
He should. This is a big opportunity for Urban Meyer and the Ohio State Buckeyes. They were on a big stage last week against Wisconsin, and Urban Meyer understands what it takes for Ohio State. Even if they run the table, there's still going to be people that are looking at them and doubting them. He needs to be able to take advantage of this, and his team needs to be able to take advantage of a big stage against a quality opponent in Northwestern.
But it is a team, the Wildcats, that employs two quarterbacks.
It is, and give Pat Fitzgerald and his staff a lot of credit because it's a system that works. Kane Colter has been here for the last few years, more of a dual threat guy, ability to run and throw. And Trevor Siemian will come in and he'll try to get the ball thrown more down the field vertically. You see their numbers. Tonight will be an interesting night for Northwestern and how they attack a very athletic Ohio State defense. Do they go to Siemian and try to attack through the air, or do you give the ball to Kane Colter and hope that his athletic ability will be able to create some plays and make some things happen, very similar to Braxton Miller?
Partner, I told you how good you look with that purple tie.
You like that purple? I kind of like that scarlet and gray.
Well, we got this crowd. Back in the day, ladies and gentlemen. Back in the day. The undefeated Northwestern Wildcats. But they have yet to play a team as strong as Ohio State. Heather Cox is down below, and she's ready with Northwestern coach Pat Fitzgerald. Heather?
Brent, thanks so much. Coach, many are saying this is the biggest game here since you played. So how would you describe the mindset and emotion of your team right now?
Our guys have been loose. They've been focused. Now it's time to go out and execute for 60 minutes. Great college atmosphere. Going to be a lot of fun tonight.
You use a two-quarterback system. What makes that system work so well for your offense?
Well, Kane and Trevor, they're special, and they need to be special tonight.
Looking forward to a good one, Pat. Thank you.
When you take a look at the program comparison, there really is no comparison. 59-14, all Buckeyes. 7 national championships to none for the Wildcats, and 19 bowl wins to only 2 for the Cats. The Cats won last year against Mississippi State in the Gator Bowl. Heisman winners, Northwestern has not fielded one yet. But the Wildcats are ready tonight for the favored invaders from the state of Ohio. On the near side, all the Northwestern fans. Out far side, you'll see nothing but red behind Urban Meyer. Northwestern won the toss and deferred. So the Buckeyes are going to handle the ball first. And Dontre Wilson, their sensational freshman. And watching from behind him is the Northwestern athletic director, Jim Phillips. Fielded in the end zone. They'll take a knee and come out on the 25-yard line. And here comes Braxton Miller, and he put to rest any idea of a quarterback controversy last week.
He sure did. He came out and established the Ohio State offense after a few weeks off, and big plays through the air. It's something that Northwestern's defensive coaches and head coach Pat Fitzgerald are well aware of. They think they need to hold on tight against Braxton Miller and the big play of the passing game from Miller, especially early in this game. Keep everything in front of the Cats defense.
Carlos Hyde opens as the running back, number 34, alongside Miller. Play action to him, and Miller down the middle, and it is complete to Corey Brown. So Philly Brown is to the 45-yard line. Nick Van Hoos makes the stop.
Watch the linebackers, Brent, go after Carlos Hyde. See how quick they are? Great call on 1st and 10 with a lot of energy in this stadium, getting the linebackers out of position and then finding Corey Brown behind them.
Stay in the air. 2 for 2. Devin Smith this time. 9 more yards for the Buckeyes.
Braxton Miller, anybody who's close to the program knows what kind of arm strength Braxton Miller has. I think the area where Ohio State has changed so much is the improvement in the speed and the development of the players around the quarterback position.
On 2nd and 2, play action, and again to Smith for another first down. So the Buckeyes, Herbie, are putting into the air on this opening series of the game. No question about their game plan here early.
Yeah, Northwestern had some struggles earlier this year. They come in 119th in the nation in pass defense, and Ohio State right away trying to exploit that weakness, trying to throw underneath, and eventually they'll try to set up some bigger plays down the field.
So the Buckeyes drive to the Wildcats 37. Been successful, so why not? Wide open is Corey Brown. And he walks down the sideline. It's going to be marked inside the 10-yard line at the 9. It's 1st and goal on this opening drive.
Great patience by Braxton Miller. Devin Smith cleared out off to the left and opened it up underneath, and a good read.
Every play in the air so far, and the Cats jumped that one and throw them for a 2-yard loss. Evan Spencer was the receiver that time, and White coming up fast. So it'll be 2nd and goal, but back on the 11-yard line after that loss. They're going to run Braxton Miller on a sweep. And he is down at the line of scrimmage. Cut off on that sweep. Damian Proby, the linebacker, to make the stop. And Urban was trying to change things.
Watch this. He goes crazy right here. He's trying to change it, and then they snap the ball. I was about to say Urban Meyer trying to get a check in. They had man-to-man, one-on-one on the outside, and I think he was trying to get Braxton Miller to go after that coverage against the Wildcats.
3rd down and goal. Steps up, fires, deflected, incomplete. Colin Ellis, the linebacker, number 45, knocks it down.
Boy, Colin Ellis, one of the leaders of this defense, almost came up with an interception. He had 2 interceptions against Cal, both returned for touchdowns, and that is a big stop early in this game by Northwestern. They gave up some yards, kept things in front of them, and then they squeezed the Ohio State offense in the red zone to force this field goal.
Kenny Guyton, backup quarterback, will put it down for Drew Basil. 27-yard attempt. And so the Buckeyes strike first, but the Wildcats did not surrender a touchdown. They limited them to a field goal. So the Buckeyes will kick off here, and Wildcats will handle it for the first time tonight. So Harris goes back deep. He's the key kickoff return man. Matthews, only a freshman from LaGrange Highlands. Basil kicks it away. And here comes Harris from the 5. Alley. Out to the 30-yard line. Nice return. Well, the starting quarterback tonight is Kane Colter. He's a senior from Denver, Colorado. And Herbie, it's interesting. Tell us about his strengths.
Well, he is a dual threat quarterback, an experienced guy. He's been around for a number of years. Actually has a lot of traits. He can catch the ball, he can run the football, obviously can throw it, and throws it a lot better than people want to give him credit. When Ohio State sees him back there at quarterback, they're thinking more about his ability to run and Venrick Mark's ability to run the football.
He stacked 3 receivers on the right, threw a screen pass, and that is Venrick Mark, the tailback, who returns. And he was injured before the Cal. 3 games, did not play.
He is electrifying. A big difference by having 5 in that backfield.
They pick up 9 yards. Staying in the air, and there's the first down, and there's Tony Jones.
Tony Jones that time matched up into the boundary against Bradley Roby. And remember, Roby had the rough game last week. Kane Colter can throw the football. The scouting report says he's the runner, but he has shown an ability the last few years to throw it. And if you challenge him, he'll make you pay for it.
Mark thrown for a loss, and that was Adolphus Washington.
Tackle by Adolphus Washington.
Check in now on the impact matchup on this side of the ball.
Well, I think it is Tony Jones and Christian Jones. They're wide receivers against Bradley Roby and Durant Grant. Ohio State loaded the line of scrimmage last week against Wisconsin. Northwestern's got to make plays in their vertical passing game.
And they do, to midfield that time, and that is Dan Vitale. Now, he's more of an H-back than a tight end. They will move Vitale all over the field. And the Wildcats have advanced on their opening series quickly to midfield, and Colter is 3 of 3 for 22 yards. Trayvon Green, now the running back. Bucks rush 3, wait for Colter, he takes off. That was interesting, Herbie, because they held the defensive lineman back, but Colter still was able to get past him.
Yeah, this is what you have to do with athletic quarterbacks, is contain them. You could see that they had a spy that time with Shazier, who's usually number 10, now wearing number 2 in honor of Christian Bryant, who's out with a broken ankle. He's just spying him. And by spying him, he forced him to cut back to the inside, and the Buckeye defense, very good job of containing and pursuing a very athletic quarterback in Colter.
Stopped him short of the first down. Corey Brown back deep for the Buckeyes, and this one will go into the end zone. Ohio State leads Northwestern by a field goal, and you're watching ESPN Saturday Night Football presented by Windows on ABC. The Nissan Heisman House was on site here in Evanston this weekend with special guests and giveaways to help Wildcat fans get ready for this showdown against Ohio State. The Buckeyes on their first possession moved down to kick the field goal. Northwestern forced a punt, so Braxton Miller is back with Carlos Hyde as his running back.
Braxton Miller recognizing a late adjustment from Northwestern, walking a linebacker up to the line of scrimmage, loading the line of scrimmage.
Here's Hyde's first carry from scrimmage, and he makes the most of it for 11 yards.
You look at the Ohio State impact matchups with Braxton Miller and Carlos Hyde, and the running game puts pressure on Ellis and Proby in the middle of Northwestern's defense. There's a big advantage with Ohio State's offensive line. Northwestern has to decide, are they going to load the line of scrimmage to stop that running of Hyde and Miller? If they do, they can leave themselves vulnerable in the pass game in some big plays.
Fumble. Still loose. Northwestern football. What a play by Tyler Scott, the ringleader of that defensive front, number 97.
Now Scott, who had 9 sacks a year ago, is from Warren, Ohio. You think he's fired up for this game, Brent? He gets his hand on the football. This defense prides itself on creating turnovers, especially deep in opponent's territory. Ellis comes in there. A lot of jerseys for Northwestern all over the football. But as Brent, as you said, Tyler Scott comes up with the big play. That's the 12th turnover this year that this defense has created.
Both quarterbacks dash onto the field here for the Wildcats. Trevor Siemian figures to take the snap, and Kane Colter has been working in the slot. There is Colter, number 2. This is what they worked on in practice. And believe me, Colter does get involved in the passing game. Siemian straight back, looks in that direction, takes off, and into the red zone, out of bounds on the 19-yard line that time. And there was Ryan Shazier, as Herbie told you, wearing number 2.
Now, you could make the argument that their best lineup tonight will be Siemian at quarterback and Kane Colter lined up at the slot. You put Kane Colter out there with Tony Jones and Christian Jones and Venrick Mark, it's a lot of speed and a lot of athletic ability, and Siemian can distribute that football very, very well.
Second down and 5 with Simeon, the trigger man. On the draw play with Mark. Mark breaks free for a first down at the 11-yard line, and Curtis Grant with the stop for the Buckeyes. The one thing, Herbie, that faces Ohio State's defense tonight is a change in style. Last week, it was the big Wisconsin offensive lineman. Northwestern tonight will spread the field, and they'll throw it around. They won't be looking for one receiver. They'll be looking for several. Simeon, end zone incomplete.
Simeon's pass is incomplete.
And C.J. Barnett had coverage.
Pat Fitzgerald has put together a staff and a system where they're very multiple. It puts a lot on a defensive staff to try to get ready for two different quarterbacks and two different systems and how they can fight you.
And you saw Herbie was pulling at the jersey. Yeah. He thought interference should have been called down to the end zone. It was a tremendous linebacker recruited by Gary Barnett. Now Colter will take this snap on a full house. And the H-back, Vitale, straight ahead.
Yeah, Vitale, the ball carrier. Tackled by Bradley Brody.
Right now doing a good job of mixing up not just the quarterbacks, but a lot of different personnel groups, keeping Ohio State's defense off balance. But this is what it's really all about, is trying to execute on third down. They're at 51% on the year, one of the better teams at executing on third down.
Well, here's your 3rd and 8. And Trevor Simeon from Windermere, Florida, back on the field. He's the junior. Colter's the senior. Simeon has time. Fires middle. Touchdown, Northwestern. Kane Colter. As we told you, he was not a decoy. He gets involved as a receiver. It was all set up by that young man's defensive work. Tyler Scott forced a fumble, then recovered it, and the Wildcats gained the lead.
They now have 90 points off turnovers. It's the most in the country. Not only do they create turnovers, they capitalize on it as well.
Jeff Butzine makes it a 7-3 game. So here is that play by Scott, a tremendous play. Strips, ball still loose, surrounds it, and then quarterback to quarterback. Colter's first reception of the year results in a touchdown. We welcome you back to Evanston. Two quarterbacks talking it over.
Kane Colter, so valuable not only as a quarterback, but as we're going to see tonight, you put him in that slot, try to get him matched up against linebackers and safeties. He can work magic in space.
Jordan Hall was nicked up, Coach Meyer told us, so he will not be back on kickoff returns. Dontre Wilson and Elliott, another running back. So there is Dontre, the freshman from DeSoto, Texas. Strong leg coming out on the 25. Rod Smith and Ball will also see time, but right now the workhorse is Carlos Hyde.
And Brandon, Urban Meyer and Tom Herman, the offensive coordinator, is saying that Carlos Hyde could get up to 25 touches tonight, depending on how he feels. And we're already seeing a pretty good dose. Ohio State, remember, they threw the ball down the field until they settled for a field goal in their opening possession. Now they've come out here after fumbling, and now they're starting to run the football.
Now Rod Smith will check in now. They'll motion him out of the backfield. Draw play. Braxton sort of backed into that spot where the first down marker was. Ellis making the stop for the Wildcats, and they might be a little bit short here.
For this offense to really click, Braxton Miller's feet have got to be a big part of trying to make things happen and make those linebackers and safeties respect his feet and his running ability.
Can't find the receiver. Down. It'll be 4th down, thrown for a loss by number 97, who is having a huge opening quarter here in Evanston.
Deontay Gibson, who comes in obvious passing situations, is a defensive end. Now, it's a defensive end, and he's going to drop in coverage. I want you to keep an eye on him and see what he does here in space, because he's got to be able to make a play to contain Braxton Miller. He can't let him get out there, and he does a very good job of forcing him back inside. Once he does, look at the rest of the defense there to help him. Great job by a big guy at 260 pounds of containing Miller.
Fenwick Mark will return punts as well as run as their #1 back tonight. And this one was downed at about the 1-foot line. Terrific special teams work.
Remember, this punt team pinned Wisconsin back a number of times last week.
So his heel apparently was not on the goal line because the official was right there. Right straight ahead with Colter to give the Wildcats just a little daylight.
A home game for Northwestern, but at that part of the stadium, probably the loudest it is as far as favoring Ohio State and trying to be a distraction for Northwestern.
And you can see the sea of red here tonight. Far side belongs to the Buckeye faithful. Near side to the Wildcat fans. Second down and 7. Pick up about a yard on that play. Very content to be very conservative coming out here. Pat Fitzgerald not electing to gamble on that. So it brings up 3rd down.
Up to this point, you're right. Being conservative on the first 2 downs. At the same time, you don't want to have to punt from deep in your own territory. It's a big 3rd down for both teams. Ohio State could get great field position, and Northwestern doesn't want to have to punt from back inside their own end zone.
From the end zone, Colter in trouble, dashes out of it. Not going to get the first down. They're going to be forced to punt. Terrific stop by Washington, number 92, the sophomore from Cincinnati's Taft High School.
Michael Bennett, the last few years or last few weeks, is really emerging. When they leave him alone with a single man trying to block him in pass protection, his quickness, he's becoming just too much. And he forced Kane Colter out of the pocket, and that was a big stop there by Ohio State's defense, and a great job there by Michael Bennett.
Brandon Williams, standing in the Wildcat end zone, will punt it away. They're in top of it. They swallow it for a touchdown. Ohio State touchdown. Bradley Roby, #1. Coming back from an off week against Wisconsin, Roby delivers a big play for the Buckeyes as they lead again.
Urban Meyer always emphasizes special teams. This is a huge block by Roby. You can also see Ryan Shazier getting in there, and he just jumped right on top of it. A bounce back play by Bradley Roby. Brent, as you said after last, he had a tough week this week. Having to see all those plays by Jared Abadaris. That's a big play by him here early in this game.
You know, Herbie, you don't often see somebody swallow a football like that and then recover it. So the Buckeyes regain the lead on the block punt. Bradley Roby from Sewanee, Georgia, a junior, and just made a huge special teams play for Urban Meyer. Urban, of course, has always, and I mean always, coached the special teams no matter where he's been. They'll take a knee and it'll come out on the 25-yard line. Mark, the ball carrier, straight up the middle. Shy of the 30-yard line. Well, Benrick Mark came to Northwestern where he started as a receiver. And again, he has sat out 3 games plus with that lower leg injury. And they were saving him with one eye on this game. In practice this week, he's run very well. So we'll see what happens. Play action to him. And Colter on the move and complete to Mike Jensen, the senior from Rancho Santa Fe, California.
Yeah, I think the Northwestern passing game, no matter whether it's Colter or Simeon in there, is going to be a big part of their offensive attack. Curtis Grant came on the blitz, and he got away from the pressure by rolling away from Grant and made a great throw on the run.
Option. Mark with a good pair of hands on that play. That was not a good pitch. Mark objects a little bit to how he was taken down, but watch this pitch and the hands.
It was a heck of a play going back to his receiver days. He was barely able to secure that before Pitt Brown makes that play in space.
So we've come to the end of the first quarter. Ohio State with a block punt has taken the lead, and we'll be back after this message and a word from your local ABC stations. So Simeon is the quarterback for the Wildcats on this 2nd and 8. Moving to the left. Far side, shows his arm off beautifully that time to Christian Jones. His first reception at a first down. Herbie, you can see the zip on his ball.
Yeah, and I love the different looks that they're giving the Ohio State defense. A little action, just enough to hold the linebackers, roll them to the outside. Linebackers coming in on him, but look, there's a loss of the safety that time. Pitt Brown is lost in coverage, and again, we can't say it enough. Christian Bryant, not just a great player, but a veteran, a real leader, out not playing in this game.
So now they come back with Colter, and Mark bangs off one. Tough run by Mark. Corey Brown was banged, and Fitzgerald, the old linebacker, said that's the way to hit a defensive player.
Well, that really can set the tone. Mark turns the corner here, and here comes the safety. Bang! Little guy showing some power, and Pat Fitzgerald told us this week he's one of the toughest players he's ever been around, whether as a former player or as a coach now. He lowers his shoulder. We just talked about Pitt Brown, who was beaten coverage. Now he doesn't get low enough, and Mark runs him over.
Colter is the quarterback. They come right back with Mark. First down and goal from the 3-yard line for the Wildcats, who've gone to the muscle game here on the last couple of plays. They're keeping the Buckeyes a little off balance.
The left tackle, Canapia, coming around. He picks up a nice block on a linebacker. And there's just a different feel to this offense with Mark and the acceleration that he brings to the offense. He mixed in all the rest of it. The window dressing, they mix up play action, do a good job of making you respect the horizontal passing game, and then they accelerate downhill with Benrick Mark.
Look at that sort of shotgun full house look. They move to the right with an option. Colter keeps it, end zone touchdown. Wildcats regain the lead.
Sometimes you hear people talk about two quarterbacks don't work. Trevor Simeon just led this team right down the field inside of that 5-yard line. And all of a sudden the defense has to adjust to Kane Colter in an option attack. That's the defense's worst nightmare inside the 5-yard line. And if you don't make the proper adjustments and in a hurry, here comes number 2, a little shake, and into the end zone. That's tough.
Budzine with the punter holding. Williams puts it down. Here is the touchdown, little option look, and Colter kept it. The Cats are up by 4. Quarterback Kane Colter scored the touchdown because offensive coordinator Mick McCall came into this game determined to run option against Ohio State. He told us the Buckeyes have not looked at a lot of option. We will even use triple option. And there in that particular formation, he had the ability to do it. And so the Wildcats strike with that formation, and now it'll be up to Urban Meyer and Luke Fickell, his defensive coordinator, and I'm sure they will adjust as they have looked at several option plays here already.
Yeah, it's one of the options of having a veteran like Kane Colter with the skill set that he has, not just the passing that he and Simeon have put on display tonight, but you have to deal with that option attack. And Ohio State sees it in practice, but it's been run tonight at a different tempo and a different way that they've been able to attack here early.
Budzine with one of the big legs in the conference. Coming out of the 25-yard line. On first down, Miller with plenty of time, can't find a receiver. takes off and picks up 8 yards on first down.
Can go back to Northwestern's game plan. They are very well aware of Braxton Miller's arm strength. They want to keep everything in front of them. They want to make Ohio State earn everything that they get. They're willing to give up some yards, but they don't want to give up the home run and allow them to get behind them in coverage. That's why you're seeing Braxton Miller run occasionally, hit some passes underneath. They want to see if Ohio State can execute in the red zone.
2nd and 1, and it's Hyde for the first down. Let's check in down below with Heather Cox.
This Ohio State defense is frustrated, especially defensive tackle Michael Bennett, who just really is the vocal leader of this team, and he is flat out angry. Gathered the defense saying, everyone's saying we're okay. We aren't okay. We aren't fine. We're losing, and it's because you're not doing your jobs. That's what it's all about. Play assignment football, especially against the option. Get it done. Very frustrated sideline guys.
First down and 10. Hyde. Good ball fake by Miller. I thought for a moment he handed it off to Hyde, and instead he was thrown to Devin Smith that time, and it was incomplete. It'll be 2nd down at 10.
Interesting that Heather talks about Michael Bennett down on that Ohio State sideline trying to get their defense's attention. Remember, you take away Christian Bryant, a 4-year starter, it's about who they don't know right now at this point in the season who is the leader of this defense. This is where you start to define some roles and find out when you're down 14-10.
2nd and 10. Miller keeps it behind a Hyde block, runs for the first down. He's down to the Wildcat 45-yard line. Henry with the stop.
They create a numbers advantage because they read in their zone read scheme with Braxton Miller. The line having their way up front, and they're giving Braxton Miller some room to run. Both he and Carlos Hyde right now doing a very good job of picking up running yards. Northwestern, again, willing to concede that part of their defensive plan.
Miller. Corey Brown. Another first down. This 1st and goal for the Buckeyes.
Well, he had all day to throw, and he stretched the defense way downfield. But look at all this time. Nobody's getting close to him. Philly Brown aborts his route. He just stopped, turned around, and looked around. There's nobody in the middle of the defense, and he just stopped, waved his arms, and because of all the time that Braxton Miller had to throw, eventually he found him wide open in the middle of the defense.
Hyde to the 5. Let me check that. That was Elliott. Hyde has not returned. Has now.
This is what the game's going to come down to, whether or not Ohio State can score touchdowns in the red zone, or do they have to settle for field goals.
Miller's option. Hyde out of bounds at the 4-yard line.
Boy, great job by Colin Ellis, the outside linebacker. He's got to be able to get out here because it's man coverage on the outside. He's got to be able to get off of the block from Newhart, which he does, and he affected Hyde and slowed him down to let the rest of the Wildcats get there. It's a great job of getting away from the block and having instincts and speed to make a play.
3rd and goal. Miller, incomplete. He overthrew his target. Chris Fields was working deep, and Miller threw too high.
It's a rub route, and 2 Northwestern defenders ran right into one another, and it opened up Chris Fields. Braxton Miller just short-armed the ball, and the ball sailed on him. But if he would have just hung on just maybe a second longer, you would have seen Fields break free because of those 2 Northwestern Wildcat defenders ran right into each other on the rub route.
Drew Basil. This will be a 20-yard attempt. Guyton the holder. And it's a 1-point game.
Second time Northwestern's held in the red zone.
You're watching ESPN Saturday Night Football presented by Windows on ABC. Basil. There's Harris at the 20. And he's to the 26-yard line. Colter was working in the slot. Simeon comes on back. Nice move by Lawrence. And again, the Wildcats are moving the ball against Urban Meyer's defense.
What a versatile attack. It's not just Kane Colter or Venrick Mark, Trevor Simeon. We're calling a lot of different names out. And I'll tell you, when Simeon is in rhythm, you get him back and you're not going to challenge his receivers off the line of scrimmage. He's going to complete a lot of balls.
Mark motions out. Backfield is empty. Buckeyes coming with 6. Shazer trying to get there. They hit Mark. Mark is loose. 30 to the 11-yard line. The blitz didn't get there.
They blitzed him, and they left Bradley Roby isolated against a former wide receiver and Venrick Mark. This is a matchup that they wanted to try to exploit. Simeon's got to get the ball out of his hands quickly. And because Roby tried to get there to make a big play, it left Mark open in the open field. And Venrick Mark in the open field is dangerous for anybody. Poor play there by Roby and a big play by Mark. I'm not comparing him to Reggie Bush, but I can't help it when he's number 5 in the open field. He looks a lot like Reggie did in college.
Yeah, 41 yards of Reggie there. Kane Colter back in as the quarterback. Colter on a quarterback draw to the 6-yard line.
Boy, attacking in so many different ways. And what it does is it stresses the safeties and, again, the linebackers and their eyes, where you got to think about, is Venrick Mark going to get the ball? Is Kane Colter out into slot? Kane Colter's under center. Got to worry about the option. Now you got to worry about quarterback draw. Quick pass to the outside. They're just putting a lot of pressure on the Ohio State defense because of how multiple they are and how they attack with this offense.
2nd and 5. Colter keeps it, and he's going to be thrown for a loss by Shazer. Ryan Shazier, and of course, if you're wondering why he's wearing number 2, that's in honor of Christian Bryant, who broke an ankle last week and has been lost for the season, so he'll wear number 2 the rest of the year.
That was a big play on 2nd down, considering the quarterback Colter has been hurting Ohio State with his mobility. That time Shazier in perfect position to contain him and bring him down.
So that brings Simeon, Trevor Simeon, in as the trigger man on 3rd and 9. Buckeyes are coming again. Simeon steps away and not going to get the first down. That brings up 4th down now for Coach Fitzgerald, and a decision here.
And a great call by Luke Fickell and the Ohio State defensive staff. Seeing Trevor Simeon back there, obviously doesn't have the same mobility. Bring the pressure before the play can establish and get to him. Remember, Northwestern's been doing a good job with Simeon, getting the ball out of his hands quickly. That time, he didn't have a chance to allow his pass play to develop because Luke Fickell brought the blitz.
One of the most accurate kickers in the Big Ten a year ago. Missed only 1. He's already missed 2 this year. But Budzine nails this one. But against Ohio State, Northwestern knows you must score touchdowns, not settle for field goals.
Simeon loved to probably have that last play back, but the Buckeyes did blitz him. You know, we've been talking so much about these quarterbacks. The one thing we don't want to overlook is with 5 minutes to go in the first half, Mike Hankwitz, the defensive coordinator, has put together a heck of a plan in defending Ohio State's offense and the big playability of Braxton Miller and his wide receivers.
Good football coach. Been around the block. So here is Wilson taking another knee. And Carlos Hyde, no gain. Lee Lowry making a stop.
Lee Lowry gets some penetration and just closes in a hurry. And if that was a read, and I think it was, that's a bad read and a miscue for Braxton Miller. It's easy to look at that and say, geez, why didn't anybody block him? But Braxton Miller's accountable for him on the zone read. And when the defensive end collapses, he's got to pull the ball out and take off and run with it.
Now Hyde.
Go back to that opening drive. Remember how Ohio State started the game? I mean, they were throwing the football. And they had some success. They ended up settling for a field goal. But since that opening drive, Braxton Miller is 1 of 5 with a fumble and a sack. So they've taken him away from passing the football, and they're making Ohio State go the long way by running with Miller and with Hyde.
3rd down. Incomplete. Ohio State forced to punt with 3:38 to go in the first half.
This is a big sequence of plays for Northwestern to come up with his stop. Ball is thrown right where Hireman needs to be able to make that play. They attack the linebackers, and the frustration continues for Ohio State's offense and for Braxton Miller.
So Mark will go back. Remember, one of the best punt returners in the nation. Healthy now. Johnston will take off on a fake. Trying to get the corner. Down. Oh, my. Oh, my. A fake punt at 3:38 from that spot in the field. And Mike Jensen, makes the play.
A wide receiver making a play like this, the awareness, it's not the tackle, it's the awareness. What a risky move by Ohio State, and right there the receiver in the open field takes Johnston out. Boy, a gutsy call by Urban Meyer to try to spark his team here before the first half, and it backfires on him by a heads-up play by the receiver Jensen.
Simeon and Mark is the running back. So Simeon will be the trigger man here from the Buckeye 30-yard line. The slip screen to Mark on the outside, and he picks up almost 10 yards. I think it's going to be Mark just a little bit short. Coming up now, stay tuned for the Capital One halftime report. Scores and highlights. Busy day of college football. Georgia survives against Tennessee, but it took an overtime to do it. 3 minutes remain here. 2nd down and 1. First down with Mark. And Mark to the 13-yard line.
They attack wide to Colter. Go back up to the middle with Venrick Mark. Again, Ohio State, just by being a little hesitant with the linebackers because they're waiting to see how the play develops, it gives the linemen a chance to get up to the second level and gives them better blocking angles. Go back to it again this entire first half. The fact that they're so multiple and attacking in so many different ways is creating hesitation from the Buckeyes defense.
Colter is one of the slot receivers. Simeon will throw the other direction, incomplete to Mark, and it will be 2nd down.
Caught Ryan Shazier on a blitz, and it freed up Joey Bosa, the true freshman defensive end, to get the pressure that time on Ohio State. I'll tell you, it seems like when Simeon is in there, the best that Ohio State's done in defending Simeon is to tighten up their coverage on the outside and bring pressure, because a lot of those quick throws, you're getting the ball to an athlete like Colter, getting the ball to an athlete like Venrick Mark out in space and making Ohio State have to try to tackle them out there, which is tough to do.
Mike Trumpy back in the backfield. Colter is the quarterback. Trumpy. And he's to about the 9-yard line, and now it will be 3rd down.
So this team in this first half, they're not at all of Ohio State in this atmosphere. They almost seem like they're welcoming it as if they belong here, and they're out there executing, having fun.
3rd down and 6. Simeon's the trigger man. Steps up, in trouble, sacked. Going to be brought down, and there's an injured Buckeye on the play. Bennett appeared to be clutching a wrist or an arm. Seems to be okay now, and now he'll wind the clock down again.
A bull rush that time, Brent, from Jamal Marcus, who comes in obvious passing situations, the sophomore out of Durham, North Carolina. He just went right over the top of Paul Jorgensen.
29-yard attempt on its way. Good. So it's a 7-point Northwestern lead. Now, can the Wildcats finish? Let's go to Heather Cox. She's with Urban Meyer.
Brent, thanks so much. Coach, what is your message to Braxton Miller in the locker room at half?
Well, keep playing. We're in a great game against a good team. Just keep playing. Do what he does.
And where does your defense need to improve against Northwestern's multiple looks?
We got to be, I see him running the ball on us, passing. But you know what? It's good offense. This could be a great game in the second half.
I'll let you get to it. Thanks, Urban.
All right, Heather. Northwestern with 213 yards, and Ohio State with 205. A 7-point Wildcat lead. Into the first half. Stay tuned after these messages with the Capital One halftime report. Northwestern leading Ohio State 20-13. Homecoming in the Big Ten opener for the Wildcats. And the Buckeyes without an offensive touchdown. With Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brent Musburger. And Herbie, there is one stat that just boggles my mind. We have not had a single penalty in this football game.
Knock on wood.
Did I jinx it?
Yeah, let's see if we can continue that in the second half. Story to me has been a couple of things. Sometimes you got to talk about the quarterbacks from Northwestern, the way they're attacking the Ohio State defense. Created 2 turnovers. They've done an amazing job defensively in the first half. Still 30 minutes to go of defending Braxton Miller and the Ohio State offense. We haven't seen any big plays, and since that opening drive, Ohio State's offense has really been stymied and slowed down quite a bit.
Okay, Northwestern will receive the second half kickoff. Holding a 7-point lead. They will go on offense first. Harris will take a knee, and it'll come out on the 25-yard line. Herbie, let's check in now on the Pacific Life game summary.
Well, again, we've talked a lot about how Northwestern plans to attack Ohio State, and it's not so much about the yards, 213 yards. It's just the way they've kept Ohio State off balanced and capitalized on their chances. Ohio State did 2 turnovers, the one there, the interception right before the half, along with the Braxton Miller fumble. Don't forget also the miscue on the fake punt. Northwestern was able to stop Ohio State in their own territory and come away with 3 points.
So Kane Colter opens at quarterback. And here is Mark, the running back, Venrick Mark. And let's check in down below with Heather Cox. What did Coach Fitzgerald have to say?
Well, Pat said the way they were able to rattle Braxton Miller was really to keep him in front of him and keep him inside of him, but he did admit he expects a lot more deep balls here in the second half. I also asked about the message in the locker room at halftime, and he said he had a Navy SEAL come in and talk to the team before the game, asked him to reach his hand up, and then they said reach up a little bit higher. So Coach Fitzgerald's message, reach higher in the second half.
And they did just that right there. Lawrence, again, it's 1st and 10 at the 45. Navy SEALs. They did some more good work.
I'm very surprised that Ohio State is not challenging the Northwestern wide receivers a little bit more and trying to reroute them or challenge the timing between the quarterbacks and receivers. They're giving them a big cushion.
Green is the running back. Crosses the 40-yard line, and Spence making the snap.
Kane Colter a little frustrated with himself because of the name you just said, Noah Spence. Spence went down and followed Green, and Colter, if he pulled that out, he's downfield for 15, 20 yards.
Slipping it to the outside. Beautiful move by Vitale. Vitale with an athletic move picks up another first down. This is an impressive opening drive here in the first half.
Play action, freezes the linebackers, gives the receiver a chance to make a block on Shazier. And Vitale is very athletic. You look at him, you think he's just a big bruiser, a fullback, but good athletic ability there.
Colter backfires another strike right over the middle to Jensen. Jensen made a huge defensive play. He stopped that fake punt, and now he comes back and gives the Wildcats a first down around about the 10-yard line.
Just right now, this is a rhythmic attack by Northwestern and Kane Colter and how they're going after the Buckeyes. A little bit.
The running back was stopped as he comes behind the middle of his offensive line. You know, we haven't spoken, Herbie, about Kanopka, Mogus, Batobele, Park, and Jorgensen. That's that offensive line, and they have done an especially outstanding job on this particular drive.
Mick McCall, as a play caller, has done a really good job in how he's tried to attack. Remember, it's not Trevor Siemian back there. It's Kane Colter running and throwing, and now this is usually how they attack with the option look as well.
Second and goal, and here it is. Mark got the pitch. Not much doing. Barnett, C.J. Barnett, number 4, making the stop. So we'll look at the 5 fellas up front. Focus in on the center. Brandon Vitabile. He's out of Edison, New Jersey. He's one of the better centers in the Big Ten.
Still an offensive line with 3 new starters, where they're still trying to develop that continuity, but they're growing up tonight as Siemian comes back in.
Now Siemian and the other quarterback right there. That's Kane Colter. He has caught a touchdown pass in this game. Third and goal. Siemian's in trouble. He is ripped down that time. Michael Bennett, the leader up front, is in with Noah Spence. They blow it up, and again, they have forced the Wildcats to settle for a field goal attempt here.
They took Colter away where they bracket him with a safety in the middle and a linebacker on the outside. But Bennett showing again when he's left alone and has a chance to utilize his quickness. He can put a lot of pressure on the Northwestern quarterback. Good job of pressuring in there.
Just to make it a 2-score lead. Bud Zine with a 32-yard field goal. Strong sack. And the Wildcats settle again for 3. Michael Jordan looks pretty good in Northwestern purple outside the United Center. NBA fellas working out, getting ready for the season ahead. And Bennett with a fine defensive play. Now, can the Buckeyes score an offensive touchdown? Wilson and Elliott are back deep. But Zine with a strong leg. Penalty went out of bounds. Now, offensive coordinator Tom Herman is matched against the defensive coordinator. Play action. Fires it off to Spencer for about 9 yards. Van Hoos is right there. When we talked to Herman last night about the Wildcat defense, he said it reminded him of Norm Parker's defense at Iowa. You remember, he was a long-time defensive coordinator for Kirk Ferentz down there. Not a lot of blitzing by the Wildcats, but you can't trick them. They always stay in position. Mike linebacker stays right there in the box. So the Buckeye coaches upstairs trying to solve it, and you can see that base 4. Now they do come with a blitz on that. They tried to get to Hyde and did not.
I think Ohio State's answer to what Northwestern is doing defensively, you mentioned that Norm Parker type of philosophy, bend but don't break, is they're going to have to control the line of scrimmage and run the football, which they had some success with Carlos Hyde. Try to get him his touches. They want to try to get him up to 25 to 30 touches. He has 11 so far. And then the underneath quick passing game out to the perimeter and the wide receivers, see if they can make a play out in space against the Northwestern defensive backs that are giving them quite a big cushion.
Hyde, the ball carrier, to the 30-yard line, and you take a look at Braxton Miller's stats after his performance against the Badgers last week.
Yeah, Northwestern's done a very, very good job. They have a lot to do with those numbers and the way they've defended him. Not just him. It's easy to point the finger always at any quarterback when an offense struggles. But they've done a very good job on the Ohio State wide receivers, and they've also gotten pressure on him without having to always blitz. Not to mention the 3 turnovers.
Second and 14. Miller fires. Smith short of the first down, and here's your third down and short with Campbell.
It's a great read, and he got the ball out in a hurry. Watch off to the left how this just opens up. 2 defenders. It's a mistake there by Northwestern's defense, and Braxton Miller with a quick read, able to get the ball to Smith in a hurry.
Hyde picks up the first and more. Spins close to the 5-yard line.
And when Braxton Miller starts to throw the football, especially over the middle like that, it opens up running lanes and it gives Carlos Hyde a chance to be effective in the interior of that defense.
Here's Hyde. Stacked up. And it'll be second down and goal. Eric Guzzo being very active here lately. And
survival of the fittest out there, Brent. He's laying on his back saying, all right, I'm going to tap out here. Get another back in.
And headed for the end zone. Touchdown, Ohio State. Their first offensive touchdown of the night. The other one in the first half was a blocked punt.
And give the Ohio State defense an assist for this touchdown. Ohio State fumbled deep in Northwestern territory in the red zone, and they got the ball on a 3-and-out after the penalty by Northwestern. Great field position, and the Buckeyes are able to capitalize on a very short 36-yard drive and a touchdown.
Basil tacks on the extra point. Carlos Hyde, 17 carries, 109 yards, and 1 touchdown. The workhorse for Ohio State. 23-20. Wildcats lead by a field goal.
Gonna be a good finish here, I think.
Freshman Harris is back deep. Cuts over to the left. And finally pushed out of bounds. Northwestern with a field goal lead as we've come to the end of the third quarter in Evanston, Illinois. Back after this message and word from your local ABC station. Getting ready now for the money quarter. Leading by 3, but it's a shaky 3. The Buckeyes coming on strong. You know, one of the things Fitzgerald loves is his father is always on the sideline with him. That's right. That's father on the left, hands him the telephone before every game. He was here when he had cables back in the day, and he moved him for Coach Randy Walker around there. So it's a family tradition. And Fitz, of course, with about 70 relatives and close friends here from the south side of Chicago. Intercepted. Picked off by Doran Grant, the junior from Akron, Ohio.
Remember, we talked about tightening up coverage, taking away that cushion, trying to challenge these Northwestern wide receivers. It's exactly what Grant does here. And he does a good job of jumping the outcut. Here's a great look at it. He's up tight. He jumps it. Does a great job. You've seen Ohio State's defense give up some plays underneath coverage. This time they take that away, and Grant jumps that ball. The ball's thrown a little bit behind the receiver, Lawrence, but it was really the coverage and the vision to locate the football by Doran Grant.
Carlos Hyde, who's carried 19 times, is alongside Braxton Miller. Here's his 20th carry as he steps to the outside. Bangs toward a first down.
Northwestern built their entire offseason on these leads that they had in the fourth quarter, and they ended up blowing these leads against Penn State, Nebraska, and Michigan. The entire offseason was built to holding on to leads in the fourth quarter.
Miller rolls to the right. Has to throw this one away. So it will be second and goal. Eric Guzzo, and on the quarterback. He's been very active as a linebacker here tonight. He's the will linebacker.
No doubt. From Columbus, the sales. Pat Fitzgerald had his team lift every weight. They made T-shirts about 5 minutes and 3 seconds. That's how many minutes and seconds they were away from being undefeated last year after blowing those leads in the fourth quarter. And now here they are again in 2013 in a familiar position that they were a year ago.
Second down and goal. Miller And now it will be 3rd down and goal from about the 2 or the 3 yard line.
I think Braxton Miller and Carlos Hyde that time not on the same page. They call a lot of these plays at the line of scrimmage. Braxton was expecting him obviously to the right. Carlos Hyde went to the left. Wonder about that fatigue of Carlos Hyde. It's not just physical fatigue, but the mind also gets challenged in these kind of situations.
Here comes Hyde. Did not get it. 4th down for the Buckeyes.
Nice play once again. Araguzzo right in the middle of that. You know he's down a field goal. Just a replay booth just confirming the spot here from Carlos Hyde, and just to see, they may want to check to see if that ball broke the plane. He throws that right arm at the goal line. He may have broken the plane.
The ruling is a touchdown.
Yeah. So they did indeed say that he broke the plane upstairs.
But that college rule where they allegedly look at every play on their own. Great decision by Jim Kimberling upstairs to want to just get another look or two at it, to at the very least stop action on their own. The officials did that.
Here's Basil. (27-23). The Northwestern turnover, their first of the night, led to the Buckeye television touchdown that put them up 27-23 as Hyde is able to extend it and break the plane.
This is how you tailgate in Chicago. This is how you do it, buddy.
That was before the rain, my friend, when they were sent scrambling and it was brought all over that parking lot.
Well, you look at that, you're either in Wisconsin or Chicago, right?
You gotta be, my friends.
Well, Urban Meyer was going crazy talking we were away about trying to get a timeout back.
Fielded at the 5 by Harris. And this time, he is swarmed over. Both quarterbacks, Colter a receiver, Simeon the trigger man. Bucks rush 4. Complete again to Lawrence, and Lawrence has had a big time night here. Caught 7 passes, and a reminder to stay tuned after the game, except on the West Coast, for the late local news over most of these ABC stations. And be sure to turn to ESPN2 for SportsCenter for the highlights of the day in sports. Simeon stays in as the trigger man. Got him on a slant. Here comes Lawrence in a foot race. 30, 20. Diving save at the touchdown at the 7 by Bradley Roby.
Simeon had to put this on a rope to get this between coverage. The corner to the outside is Bradley Roby. He sinks. The safety's right there. And because he threw that football with such velocity, C.J. Barnett didn't take an angle to give him a chance to be able to knock that football away. A great throw by Simeon.
67 yards. Mark comes back on 1st down, picks up a couple. It'll be 2nd down and goal for the Cats from the 5-yard line.
Northwestern has been in this area a lot tonight. They have had to settle for field goals 3 different times. They've been down to the Ohio State 6, the 12, and the 15, and had to settle for 3 different field goals. But they went to Kane Colter in this area earlier for a touchdown right in the middle of the field.
Under pressure, and it's amazing that he got that much out of it, isn't it? He was surrounded by Buckeyes, and it looked like he was going to go straight down and battled for a couple of yards in there, but the Buckeyes were all over.
Yeah, they brought the blitz, but watch Kane Colter right here. He's one-on-one with Pitt Brown. Moved to the inside. He was open, but Northwestern unable to protect Simeon. If he would have had just another second, Colter broke free for an easy throw.
9:27 to go. Third down. Now throws. Touchdown. Cameron Dickerson, a sophomore from Englewood, New Jersey, attended Bergen Catholic High School, makes the touchdown catch as Simeon showing some good work in the pocket. Again in trouble.
Surprises you with his athletic ability in the same way that Kane Colter surprises you with his ability to throw the football. Good job of knowing where the line of scrimmage was and getting the ball out. But Durant Grant just lost the receiver, Dickerson, in coverage.
Buckeye adds the extra point.
Off to the right here. Watch the coverage, and I think the defensive back, Grant, starts to see the quarterback scramble. He didn't have great eye discipline. He got caught watching the quarterback, and he lost his man. Dickerson, to his credit, recognized that, got away from Grant, and an easy throw and an easy touchdown for the Cats.
Pat Fitzgerald, a Chicagoan through and through. Welcome back now to Evanston. 9-10. But Zine with a strong leg. This time, Wilson able to return for the first time tonight. Bumped and down. Rod Smith replaces Hyde. It looks like they were tying his shoe on the far side. Another great play fake. And a 9-yard gain. Corey Brown, Philly Brown with that reception. Ellis with the stop over there.
Araguza has been blitzing quite a bit tonight, 44, and he came again, and that time, as you said, that was a good job of improvising, getting that ball out in a hurry by Braxton.
Second down and 1. Coming from the other side. Braxton shakes away. He'll pick up. No, he didn't go for it. He's going to throw, and why not? Open was Corey Brown. Brown on that far side before he's banged out of bounds. Braxton Miller could have walked for the first down, but he saw Brown wide open and took the bigger gain.
Boy, what a great effort here. Talk about patience. You're right. There's the first down late in the game. He doesn't come close to crossing that line. Great job of feeling that and then throwing it downfield. Philly Brown broke late there, but good recognition.
38-yard gain to Philly Brown. Braxton Miller has the Buckeyes threatening again here at the 22-yard line. Hyde is hit in the backfield. No, he kept it again. You know, the one thing that has really impressed me about Braxton Miller tonight, and several times, his ball handling. He's fooled everybody.
Yeah, he's reading this man right here. Lowry, remember, he's missed a few of these reads. And there's Ellis trying to make a play. Braxton Miller is one of the more shifty, not just quarterbacks, but athletes. When you try to defend him out there, that's tough to do for linebackers and defensive backs. But a good read that time. Lowry attacked the running back.
Second down and 7. They're across the 20-yard line. The yards have been tough in the red zone for the Buckeyes tonight. Braxton's going to take a shot at it. Couldn't find a man open, so again the safety valve is Hyde, and they do it again. It'll be first and goal.
That's the 4th catch tonight for Carlos Hyde. So not only the 23 carries, but also some soft hands and the safety valve for Braxton Miller. Tom Herman's going to be happy, the offensive coordinator from Ohio State, not just with the passing and the footwork, but also the patience and being able to come off of some of his primary wide receivers and not feeling like he has to scramble. Just finding Carlos Hyde, dumping it to him, and picking up a first down.
Here's Hyde. Hold. Touchdown, Buckeyes. An impressive 81-yard drive. Took 3:48 for the Buckeyes to bring it down and regain the lead.
Carlos Hyde has been a big difference in this second half for the Ohio State offense. Showing a lot of guts tonight now with 24 carries.
He's a Sunday running back.
And getting stronger as this game goes on.
Basil tacks on the extra point. Carlos Hyde, 3 rushing touchdowns all this half. 24 carries, 159 yards, and the Bucks lead it by 4. Mark is going in to return a kickoff for the first time. Because we're running short of time, 5:22, Pat Fitzgerald is going to use his ace return man and running back, number 5, back to return this kickoff and hope he can give him some field position. Down that far sideline, breaks the daylight. A terrific return out to the 41-yard line.
You hold your breath every time he gets his hands on the football. We all were anticipating if he gets a chance, they give him just a little bit of a crease, and now he gets into the open field, and he's got a chance to make a lot of people miss. That's a big return here to set up this drive. Good initial blocking up front just to give him enough room to start the work, and then he does the rest.
First down and 10 for the Cats. 5:14 remaining. They're down by 4 after that 38-yard kickoff return. Of course, they will start at the 41-yard line. Kane Colter back in as the quarterback. Play action. Diving reception. Line judge says he got it. 9-yard gain. Christian Jones.
Yeah, Kane Colter has not missed a pass tonight. Northwestern as it grew as a team, 351 yards through the air against this Buckeye secondary.
Second and 1. They run for the first down. Trayvon Green picked it up with Grant making the stop.
They were in hurry-up mode, but not getting away from their offense. Brett and I talked about this most of this broadcast. Can't reiterate it enough. Penn State, Nebraska, Michigan, teams they had the lead on last year. Their whole focus is try to win games in the fourth quarter, and here's a chance for them against the number 4 ranked team in the country.
Colter has to move hard, cuts up field, comes across the 40 to about the 38-yard line. There is a big issue right here with Mick McCall and Pat Fitzgerald. Now you're moving the ball, but the problem is you haven't been able to stop Ohio State in the second half. So if you're a play caller right now, yes, you've got to finish in the end zone, top priority. But the second priority is to get the clock down as far as you can, because that's how dangerous Ohio State has been here in the second half. First thing, of course, is get into the end zone. Mark on the draw play. And the Buckeyes stop him after about a 1-yard gain. That was Joel Hale making the stop.
Ohio State has tried to tighten up coverage on the outside. Part of the reason they've given up so many yards through the air is they've allowed the quarterbacks to throw with their receivers, and the timing has been outstanding. Ohio State not rerouting and challenging them off the line. Here on 3rd down and short, they'll really come up tight on the line of scrimmage.
Obviously, it's 4-down situation right now as that clock comes down toward 3:15. And they're going to need a 4th down. Mark is short of the first down. Curtis Grant again.
Grant and also Noah Spence. Talked about working that clock down. That's exactly what they're doing.
He moved up under center. He bobbles the snap, picked it up, stepped over to the right, but did he get it? Did he get it? It's going to be very, very close. He moved up quickly to move behind the middle of the line, fumbled the ball, then picked it up and kind of stepped over to the right.
Pretty good effort just to be able to pick the ball up.
Timeout for measurement.
Yeah, they're short. Looks like they're short. You know, they've been having so much success with Colter with the direct snap from the pistol. Looks like he may have just pulled out a little bit early trying to get a head start on the sneak. But when he went under center, Ohio State adjusted their defense.
I'll tell you what's interesting about this. They may challenge this spot. Ruling on the field is he did not get it.
The other thing the officials may look at there is when he lost the ball, I don't know if his left knee touched the ground or not. Right there, but he was back up after he's able to pick the football up. This game's still a long way from being over. 2:43 to go. Northwestern trying to do what they can to get this ball back. 3 timeouts left.
Hyde now carried 25 times here tonight. Nobody didn't say it was a magic number.
Yeah, that's what the goal was, 25 to 30 touches. And he has really come alive here in this second half. The 3 touchdowns that you talked about seems to have just gotten stronger despite this heat and humidity here tonight. There's the effort to get that second touchdown, and then he gets to the corner. Interesting story about Carlos Hyde being suspended the first 3 games by Urban Meyer. Instead of pouting about that, he went down to the scout team and ran the scout team offense with a lot of the freshmen against the first team defense and gave them a great look to try to stay in game shape so when he got back he'd be ready to play.
Second down at 4. Now he's got a first. No. Yes, he does. On that second effort, he spun away from Campbell, the safety.
Well, he took a big hit by Ibrahim Campbell. Have to check himself out there. You want to explain the tie situation? You want to switch ties now? You actually have.
I thought you were going to make me.
You have I mean, that's an Ohio. That's an official. You told me to wear a purple tie. I got a purple. You pulled out an Ohio official, Steve Schnapp, Ohio State tie.
It did come from the Schnapp. My dear friend, absolutely. Sent me that tie.
I thought you were going to make it.
No, I thought you were going to make me wear this tie for the rest of the season. You win the game.
That's
coming
right.
up after the 3rd and 5.
And the uni on, the
I'm not going to catch hell when I get home. Oh, my. There we go. Cutting back to the other side now. To Braxton Miller.
He stayed in bounds. The clock runs, sets up a 4th down. Northwestern out of the timeout, so it'll go all the way down.
Absolutely.
By the time he gets a chance to either fair catch this or maybe goes into the end zone, you're talking about 20-some seconds.
Another tough setback for the Wildcats. Meanwhile, the Buckeyes, their goal is to reach the national championship game. First, of course, win the Big Ten. I mean, that should be obvious to everybody. But they set a higher standard for this team, and Urban Meyer.
Keep it away. I think that's why there was so much commotion from Urban Meyer.
He didn't want
number 5 back there.
No, he did not want a punt return on that.
I don't know how many 2 timeouts to make sure we all on the same page. 5 can't touch it.
Kane Colter coming out along with Simeon. Let's see if Colter's going to be a wide receiver. It was interesting talking to Colter. And he's a pre-med student, by the way. Number 2 is right there. And you're talking to him. He said, I'll do whatever the NFL asked me to do in an effort to make a team. And the little rascal will probably get a shot as a slot receiver. We'll see how he times out the combines and all of those things. Simeon's back against only a 3-man rush. Down he goes. The 6-yard line.
And no timeouts. So
Buckeyes are cleaning up their win.
Yeah, that's the last thing that he wanted to see happen. 8 in coverage, just rushed 3, and they got pressure on him.
So there are thousands of Ohio State fans wearing red here tonight. And they can't wait to celebrate this win, but it did not come easy. There were some uneasy moments for the Buckeye faithful here tonight.
They're trailing in the fourth quarter. It took some adjustments by Luke Fickell from the defense, Tom Herman and Urban Meyer and the offensive staff. They were challenged by a very, very good football team. You know, Northwestern and Wisconsin, I believe, get together next week. If I'm not mistaken, that will be a great game.
So here they come with the hook and a ladder. Scramble for the ball. Touchdown, Ohio State. And you know what? There are some folks who are celebrating and others who are saying, you've got to be kidding me.
Who's celebrating? The Ohio State fans?
Not just. They were celebrating earlier. There are some numbers crunchers who.
Mercy. Did that just happen?
I don't know, but yes, it did.
Some people outside.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Well, a great effort here by Ohio State. They win it by 10, 40-30. And their win streak continues. Stanford playing Washington. Right now, I know that Stanford had scored the first touchdown in that game. Alabama had a scrimmage today against Georgia State. So their win streak also continues. And a terrific performance by Hyde. What can you say? Let's go down to the Cox with the winning coach right now.
Brett, thanks so much, Coach. Congratulations. 18 consecutive wins, but you knew you'd be tested tonight. How did you get your team to rise to the challenge?
This is college football. My hat's off to Northwestern. Whatever's been said about Northwestern of old, this is a great environment, great football game. And
it came on a night when your first offensive touchdown didn't come until the third quarter. What adjustments did you make to turn things around in the second half?
We made some mistakes. We went for a fake punt. We turned the ball over a little bit, but I'm really proud of this football. That was a great game, great game.
Super intense, and you said Jordan Hall wouldn't be available and you'd have to ride Carlos Hyde. Right, you did 25 carries, a career high. How important was his performance tonight?
This was a Carlos Hyde game, and Braxton Miller, I thought that, we turned the ball over a little bit, but great team win.
And Coach, this was the first time that you trailed all season long. How does a win like this and the way that it came help you guys further down the season?
It's a street fight. It's one of those it's a 12-rounder that anytime you go 12 rounds with someone and you survive it, it makes you tougher.
All right, Urban, enjoy this.
Buckeyes win it by 10, 40-30. Join us next Saturday at 12 noon Eastern on ABC as Oklahoma will take on Texas. The Red River rivalry at noon next Saturday. Big win for the Buckeyes. Carlos Hyde, 168 yards, 3 touchdowns. Now it's time for the Ford wrap-up. So let's go to Chris Cotter. Take it away, Chris.